busy with video games, but I put together some good news and some good tables.
You are a good carpenter, man. The way you make tables are good.
I was like, what? Thank you. I've only had 4 years of experience with fantasy football tables. 3 years.
I
Whatever
meant
the fuck it
dining room
is.
tables.
My daddy can make a table.
Your tables and chairs. Would you
You
think
gave
that,
me
like,
this family recipe so easy.
if it's not the gabagoo, send it back?
That you said it was a family secret.
Tables are just larger chairs.
Are you getting it ready?
We're live, bro. Everyone's
Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
everyone's wondering what you're doing.
Oh
right
my
now.
god. I was like, you getting this ready, man? What's up, Zoners? This is Tyler. Big Turd Ward and Jason, the lucky bastard youth will coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone, man. We got live guest Peyton Manning. Little Peyton Manning. Remember Little Penny Hardaway, Jason? Remember those commercials?
It was Chris Rock, right?
Yeah, Little Penny. I had a Penny Hardaway basketball, man. It was like royal blue and black. It was a magic colors. I thought I was the man. I played basketball. I would walk up and down the streets, Jason, between the legs until I wore my holes in the front of my shoes. And that basketball had no Penny Hardaway face anymore, man. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah, but anyways, apparently I was supposed to wear. I needed to wear ankle weights or no wrist weights and oven mitts. I would have gone pro, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And maybe if I would have grown a little bit faster. Anyways, hey man, we're gonna go over second year wide receivers. There is a huge thing, man. Ever since I don't know, we've been playing fantasy football for fucking 20 years, man. 20 years experience, 40 years experience. That's what you're tuning in for. Maybe a little bit of craziness too, but still. Hey man, second year wide receivers have been around for like 10 years, dude. That is the big jump. We're gonna hit that hard and see how the second year wide receivers performed this season. What percentage did they go up by? Was it 50-50? Did they bust? Did they go up? Did they boom? All right. Can you invest in second year wide receivers? Also, the rookie wide receivers we're going to go over from last season in points per game from the top to the bottom and see who we like going forward, Jason, because we're going to go over the stats of the hit rate on second year wide receivers from last year, see if it'll apply next year. Holy shit, we're going to tell you who to target. But before we get into all that, Jason, man, this show needs help. Dear Lord, this show needs help. Please, this show needs help. Anyways, hey, tell the public how they can help this show.
Yeah, if you're watching us, please like and subscribe. Leave us a comment and let us know about your thoughts on our second year wide receivers bump or dump. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments below. We're also on the radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Patreon. Then we got a little thank you button on all of our videos if you're family friendly.
That's how you tip us, dog. You like tri-tip? Try some of this tip. Woo! Bengals plan on using, Jason, the non-exclusive franchise tag on Higgins. This is the news and brews, man. I got the brews. I got the news. I usually crack it open right here, but I've been drinking too early, okay? I'm addicted to a video game, Jason. I told you. Civilization, check it out. Dragon Wizard. Go follow us on Twitch. I take it back. Just send me a friend request.
I take it back.
Hey, but I thought T. Higgins was gone, man. To the Steelers, to the fucking Patriots. The Patriots are linked to him. They're gonna use another franchise tag on him and pay him. I don't know, man. This is like a lot of money tied in. I don't even think they paid what's his name yet, man. Jamar Chase. So holy shit, all their money's gonna be tied in 3 players next year. Their secondary is still gonna be shit. Come on.
Would this be the second or third year they franchise tag him?
Second, but you know what? He was a top 10 wide receiver this year, pretty sure. I'd be drafting him as a top 15, top 20-ish for sure this year. I'm not going to draft a second wide receiver on a team, top 10, top 12. But after that, dude, T. Higgins was amazing this year. Joe Burrow was amazing. And he's only getting older. Pocket quarterback, man.
God dang it. I hate when teams do that, man. It's like, it's like you're hurting the player when you do that. You're hurting his like morale to even want to play for the teams. Like either pay him or just let him go, man. Let him go. Let him go.
Hey, Jason.
Go. What is it? I forgot.
It was like 70 degrees here, man, so we are not singing Frozen. Jameson Williams will not face suspension. Remember, he was on video being like, go ahead, get. He did not say that, but I'm thinking of John Morant. But he had a John Morant version of himself. Jameson Williams, we were wondering halfway through the year if he was going to get suspended this year. He's not going to get suspended at all, man. Jameson Williams, next year, no new with a new offensive coordinator. I will probably be investing in him late. Maybe like my wide receiver 4, hopefully. But yeah, hey, so keep Jameson Williams on your mind.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they're not going to suspend him at all. That's kind of crazy. But
I don't know why. I don't know how they're not, dude. It's a fucking gun in the NFL.
there's got to be violence or HGH, right, in order to get any type of or speeding and leaving the crime scene.
They literally have to be on video kicking a pregnant person.
Yeah, for get suspension in the NFL.
NFL stands for not for long. My asshole, dog. My asshole is not for long. That's the bad news. Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith is recovering from surgery, Jason. He suffered a torn tricep in the Super Bowl. I remember I think he went out for a while, and I was like, holy shit. No, I was surprised he was even playing because he was injured at the end of the year. So yeah, man, 2 major injuries at the end of last season. He's should be ready for the start of the 2025 season. Eagles defense is going to be one of the top drafted defenses next season. Don't do it. Take a defense in the very last round.
Yeah, I read that he actually came back and finished the second half of the.
Let's see. During the end, but kept playing, and then he had surgery on Wednesday. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when I read that earlier today, and it made me think back to. Do you remember when Ray Lewis tore his bicep in the last game of the regular season, and he missed the playoffs, but they made it to the Super Bowl against the 49ers, and he came back, and they were saying they were like, that's way too early, this is impossible, he's on steroids and all this stuff, but he fuck it, I retired, or he won and retired, so what the fuck they want to do? And this guy still played. He tore it and kept playing.
Did they win that Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, right?
Yeah. That's the one where the lights went out.
Is that with Colin Kaepernick too?
Yeah.
Harbaugh. And then, hey, man, NFL Offensive Player of the Year odds for next season, man. We're talking about 2 running backs already. Saquon Barkley is the favorite over Jahmyr Gibbs. So Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a top 5-6 pick. Saquon Barkley is going to be a top 3 pick. Both are already, Vegas already thinks they're going to be great. Jason, Jahmyr Gibbs, do you think he's worthy? I know Saquon is. Do you think Jahmyr Gibbs is worthy of a top 5 or 6 pick?
Absolutely. Yeah. After what we just saw, yes, I do believe that. I think there's room or there's a time to discuss 3 running backs in the top, whatever picks for next year, and it's Gibbs, Bijan, and Saquon. Me personally, I think it's going to have to be Saquon, but I understand if people want to go with Gibbs or Saquon or Bijan.
And so I was knocking Gibbs on our rankings because of the offensive coordinator change, but any fucking offensive coordinator knows anything with it. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. Well, not the best. The Eagles do. Top 2, top 3. So they're going to run the fucking ball, man. So, and even then, with the new offensive coordinator, I still believe they're going to throw the ball to him as well. So, yeah. Sam Laporta, I'm kind of worried about. I'm not really sure about that. But anyways, Aiden Hutchinson, Jason, speaking about the Lions, he was quoted today, with the right guys in the locker room, you can roll anyone in to call plays. And I'm like, dude, did you see the fucking Eagles last year? Because that is not the case, man.
Right. Yeah, they lost some coaches last year, and then they weren't the same team.
So if you want to take his words a little bit out of order, he's like, hey, fuck Ben Johnson and fuck, dude, I know his name. I just had it before this. Aaron Glenn. You know what I'm saying?
Glenn. Terry Glenn. But no, yeah, Aaron Glenn. Yeah.
But seriously, that's what he's saying. He's like, fuck those guys.
I think he's just saying their skill is better than the play calling, I guess.
Well, that's not the case, dude. You give Vic Fangio in that asshole, and it starts doing the best in the league.
Yeah.
NFL investigating Justin Tucker. Speaking about assholes, Jason. All right. Mm-hmm. So Justin Tucker, we call him Justin Pucker around here.
Yeah, dude, another Deshaun Watson type thing, man.
Yeah, well, they said, I remember when this came out and they had the Bane thing. He's like, you merely adopted the darkness. I was born in it. So Deshaun Watson's like, I got like 40 fucking 50 cases, man. You got like 6, you know?
Right.
Bullshit. So yeah, Deshaun Watson was born in the darkness. Fucking Justin Tucker's out here adopting it.
A kicker is doing this, man. That just blows my mind.
And it sucks because I really liked Justin Tucker until I heard this. I'm like, oh my god, dude, you fuck. And now I look at him like, oh yeah, you looked like a fucking like a, you know, what's it called, Chester molester, man, you dickhead.
Yeah, I guess those his mind was elsewhere during the games because he didn't play well this year.
He's like, oh my god, I can't wait to get my massage after this prostate massage.
I can't wait till after the game.
If I show this person my penis, is she gonna do something with it?
On 34th Street.
All right, last thing, Jason, I saved this for you. Cowboys have not started contract talks with Micah Parsons. They're going to do it. They're going to announce it the day before the fucking season starts. Maybe even that Thursday night football game or the Hall of Fame game, whatever shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones is crazy, but he's got to pay this guy. He's going to keep him. I thought you were going to tell me something else, man. Was that the end of the news?
Yeah, that was like that was hot shit like 3 hours ago.
So, can we get a moment of silence, please, for Zach Martin retiring?
Oh, Zach Martin retired, and yeah, that's another blow to the Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, he said his body couldn't hold up, and when you're doing offensive line, man, yeah, if your body can't hold up, you better get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, we started really seeing it over the last couple of years of his body breaking down. It just sucks, you know. But only 34. I'm saying
that's what I thought. I was like, dude, I'm turning 39 in a minute. I was like, God, dude, it's just crazy. Offensive lineman, like, you know, Whitworth, he lasted late 30s or early, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, early 30s, mid 30s is pretty good for a lineman.
Over the years, we've lost Travis Fredrickson, Tyron Smith, now Zach Martin. You know, Zach Martin's going to be a future Hall of Famer. Cowboys got to rebuild that offensive line. So hopefully they get somebody who's quick and agile like Ashon Jeanty.
Jason, did you know that he was like, I don't know if he won the offensive player of the year or offensive rookie of the year, but he was like in the running for it.
Zach Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be surprised. But
all right, man. Let's get into the second-year wide receivers. I'm sharing a table. Is that at 175? I thought it would. Oh, it's because we'll see. Can you see the whole? Let's see if I can see the whole thing.
I could see the whole thing. You got like you have two.
I'm gonna scroll down just a little bit and see if that works. Can you see it now? Nah. All right, fuck it. We'll go over the very end in here in a minute.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, there's just a little section cut off.
Yeah, but that's important. It's important, okay? Because so let's go over the second-year wide receivers, Jason. That you made a list, and then I reordered it to points per game in 2023. So these rookies came out, man. Like Puka Nacua was our waiver wire of the year. I got Puka Nacua. Jason got fucking Kyron Williams that year. So that was amazing. Dude, Tank Dell, Jason, 15 points per game, man. That guy was fucking awesome down the stretch. Jayden Reed, I forgot how good he was his rookie year, man. You know? And Rashee Rice ended the season like a madman. So that was kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown that one year. Do you remember that when your dad won the championship?
Mm-hmm.
Then Jordan Addison, he actually had 13 points per game, and Bolitnikoff winners usually have been doing well for a while. And then Zay Flowers, I thought the world of after this last season. I'm just running down it real fast. We're gonna go through in detail. Josh Downs was one of the most talented wide receivers. He was like a third-round draft pick by Shane Steichen, so we paid attention. The Jaxon Smith-Njigba was supposed to be the goddamn best wide receiver coming out of Ohio State in the fucking since whatever. Michael Wilson, we liked, but, you know, then they drafted another wide receiver, so whatever. Dontavian Wicks was kind of in there with Jayden Reed as just kind of like a touchdown machine. Demario Douglas was interesting. He was a streamer for a while. I thought he would be better. Maybe a streamer this year as well. Going into next season, I kind of like him a lot more. And then Mingo, Jason, did okay his freshman year. We'll talk about how he did his fucking second year. Holy shit. Quentin Johnston, man, all the talent in the world. I think he was a first-round pick. And then they got Jim Harbaugh this last year. And then Marvin Mins Jr. was drafted by Sean Payton. I was really interested in him. I think I might even have drafted him in a couple of leagues. and it just did not come to fruition. But we'll see how that happened. What happened in the second year? So, first column is the second-year wide receiver from last season. So they were a rookie in 2023. Last season they were a second-year wide receiver. Points per game, their rookie season, and then points per game their second year, which was last year. And then Jason, I took 17.6 increased 6.3% to 18.8 for Puka Nacua, but he already started out at an amazing number. 18.8 is good, but Ja'Marr Chase was like at 22. I think about being elite wide receiver, you got to be over 20 points per game. But anyways, Jason, just how do you feel about this? About all these wide receivers? Puka Nacua, like, does this kind of hit you at all when you look at these percentages?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, quick, when you said Ja'Marr Chase was 22, are you talking about this year or his second year?
Ja'Marr Chase?
Yeah, you said, well, Ja'Marr Chase was still 22 points per game. Are you talking about this year?
Oh, yeah, like this year. Because I'm thinking, like, Puka Nacua, I felt did really well this year, but it was only 19 points per game. Like, really upper echelon is like 22, 20 plus.
Yeah, dude, I think Puka Nacua, he's definitely got to be I was kind of like iffy on him going into this 2024 because Cooper Kupp is going to be coming back. But we obviously saw the pass of the torch from Cooper Kupp to Puka Nacua. I think he's definitely, with Matthew Stafford being there, I definitely think he is a first-round pick this upcoming season. Tyler, he was actually number one wide receiver in yards per route one.
And that's very important. You look at that for like aging wide receivers, but this guy's young, coming, and he's reckless. I mean, he is injury prone because he's reckless, but it's big plays, man. And I think the biggest thing here, though, because I love him as a first-round wide receiver, if they do get rid of Matthew Stafford, I mean, I'm seeing that everywhere, dude. They want a first-round draft pick for Matthew Stafford. They were talking about bringing in Aaron Rodgers, Jason. I would still pick up Puka Nacua in the first round with Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel about that?
Matthew Stafford, he's always been, with people on his team, like wide receivers on the team, he's always made great. Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. The thing with Puka Nacua, though, is his touchdown rate. Tyler, he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, and that's probably why he's not averaging 20 points a game.
That's crazy because I think about him in the end zone being actually pretty good because when I watch the games. So
his touchdown rate, Tyler, is 4.4%.
Fuck.
That super
so
low.
1 out of 20 pretty much hits, on those touchdown passes.
So I think Aaron Rodgers maybe can make a difference, but it really comes down to who are they going to give the ball to? Who's going to get the ball near inside the 10-yard line, right? Is it going to be Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams? Is Aaron Rodgers going to target more of Puka Nacua near the goal line? Because, Rams a lot this past year was like running the ball. And Cooper Kupp still was taking a lot of touches. And, oh my God, what's that? Demarcus Robinson had like 7 touchdowns this year. So
he looks awesome, too, a lot of the time. And Cooper Kupp is supposed to go to Denver, so
this is just the whole thing, man. He needs to score more touchdowns if he wants to be up there with Ja'Marr Chase, but he gets enough yards and receptions.
So what you're telling me, though, Jason, is that he's not going to have touchdown regression. He's the only wide receiver there. Say Cooper Kupp goes. Because if Cooper Kupp stayed with Aaron Rodgers, I'd be a little bit more nervous. I would be a lot more nervous because I don't know who the relationship's going to be built with. But say Cooper Kupp goes, I would still like Puka Nacua in the first round because of this touchdown rate. Even if Aaron Rodgers comes, Sean McVay is still there. They got to target somebody. I would imagine Puka without Cooper Kupp would still get targeted the same amount of rate. And you've already seen the floor of his touchdown rate. So I would still like Puka Nacua in the first round, even with Aaron Rodgers next year. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a good point. He's got nowhere to go but up when it comes to touchdowns. So
yeah. And then, hey, man, Tank Dell got a broken leg, fucking shot, 15 fantasy points per game, right, in his first year. Amazing. They brought over Stephon Diggs. Pretty sure Stephon Diggs is now a free agent, so Tank Dell does have that going for him. But he only averaged 10 fantasy points per game this last year. That was a drop-off of 33%, 33.3%, But Tank Dell next season, I actually like as a late round target, except for I'm pretty sure I need to check his injury, man, because he might not be coming back for fucking half of the season.
That's very true.
But if he's coming back like in the first quarter, I will take that risk. If it's at the half point, I'm not doing it because I fucking took Jonathan Brooks this last season. God damn it.
Yeah, his the thing with Tank Dell, like I was high on him too this year, but his targets per game dropped. His ADOT in 2023 he was 12th overall, and that dropped to 25th overall. So he lost targets, and then he wasn't even getting targeted downfield as much as the previous year. And I'm like, we knew Diggs was going to go there and take some targets, but the whole fact that he's not being targeted downfield as much as he did the previous year, that sucks for him. That sucks for fantasy owners. That could be due to the offensive line, because we got to remember C.J. Stroud was the second most sacked quarterback this season, or maybe it was Bobby Slowick just being a lame dick. You know,
I saw you put him on your comments.
Yeah, because it could be either one. Maybe with a change of the offensive coordinator, the offensive line could get back to the 2023 form, and he could get back to, you know, making those big plays. But he got a pretty bad injury, man. I don't know how.
And it literally depends on what his outlook is. If it's a quarter, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks or less, I will be targeting him. If it's anything more than that, fuck him, dude. I'm not waiting around, man. Again, Jonathan Brooks. I thought I had running back depth. Oh my god, I was an idiot. So
we got Olaf back in the chat.
Olaf!
He's doing some best ball drafts right now. He says, I don't know shit, but it's fun and cheap. Bring the knowledge, dude.
I'm going to start doing fantasy football drafts around my birthday, which is in 3 weeks, Jason. So
Olaf,
we're getting to the point where I will start doing a ton of fantasy drafts and start doing maybe mock draft Mondays. Kind of show what the trends are, what's going on, what I see. Yeah, it sucks, man. It's amazing doing mock drafts at this point of the year because you see the values and you talk about it so much, and by 8 months later, it's fucking their third round picks.
Yeah, you're lucky, Olaf. I can't do online gambling in Washington. Not allowed. I'm one of the 7 states that doesn't get that.
Hey, man. As much as you know about football, gambling sucks for football. Man, I could gamble any other sport. Football, dude, it's just like the opposite. What you think is going to happen is going to happen a lot. And then, hey, man, so we have Jayden Reed here. Jayden Reed is rookie year, and the first quarter of this year was amazing. 13.6 points. He was averaging like fucking 20 points per game, man. Jason, when you traded him away, probably he went down 14%. So two of the top 3 rookies, Jason, went down. One was by a situation because they got another wide receiver. And then Jayden Reed, they don't even have a number 1 wide receiver there. So, and I think Christian Watson was injured his entire rookie year. So he had that going for him. But Jayden Reed, man, fell off a cliff in the second half. I am not targeting any wide receiver. Now, if they draft a wide receiver in the first round for Jordan Love, I will be targeting that person. Anybody else, I will not be. And Jayden Reed is going to be hit hot and cold all season long next year as well. Regardless, I don't care.
Yeah, he definitely regressed in his second year. His targets per game dropped from like 6 to 4, which is like crazy. And then the Packers, they just didn't throw the ball as much. They were they ran the ball the 4th most out of any teams, and it's because they had Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs was the one scoring a touchdown. And guess who's back next year, Tyler? And prove that he could still be a workhorse? Josh Jacobs.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so for me, I'm Jayden Reed, Parker. Packers wide receivers are dumps to me for this upcoming season.
Yeah, they literally, I mean, I will take a risk on the first round wide receiver. Other than that, fuck them. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Jayden Reed, because where you're drafting him is not worth what you're going to get out of him. And hey, man, Rashee Rice, we need to pay attention to this. I drafted him in the 4th round, I think. I think it was the 4th round this last year. And that was high, but as soon as I learned that he was not suspended, man, I was all about him. Only 13.3 fantasy points per game. But remember, he had that Amon-Ra St. Brown rookie stretch, dude. Last half of the season, he was like top 10, top 7. So I was all about him. I drafted him early. out of the blue. And then if you look at his points per game on any website, it's like 16 or 17 because they count that as 0. He only played 4 games. So out of the 3 games he actually finished, he averaged 21.6 fantasy points per game. Holy shit. That was up 62%, man. And that is what, the 3rd highest or 4th highest. But as far as like somebody that he already averaged a lot of points, it's easy to average. It's easy to go up a large percentage when you average fucking 5 points per game. So he went from 13.3 to 21, dude. That's elite. He went from like wide receiver 3, 2 to wide receiver 1 in a heartbeat. So Rashee Rice, man, with Travis Kelce, even maybe, taking a lesser role next season, we need to see where he is injury-wise, suspension-wise. And if he is not suspended or injured, holy shit, man, he's a first-round fucking wide receiver. But I doubt that. He did some crazy shit in that car. If he's gone for a quarter of the season, man, I will draft him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, the first 3 games of the season, he didn't score you less than 17 points. He was on his way to have career numbers his 2nd year until he was assassinated.
Ha! Fuck Patrick Mahomes, dude.
Dude, Tyler, he has literally taken over the Travis Kelce role when he was on the field. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he was going to get the receptions. He was going to get the yards. He was getting the touchdowns before he was assassinated. Dude, this guy was winning you leagues before that happened. So, but the thing is, the leg injury and the suspension coming up, and it's like, we got to hear more news before I have no idea where to even place this guy until I hear more information about him.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Jason. I mean, but Rashee Rice is a league winner. You got to pay attention to that. Fuck, man. I got so pissed because I was like, I drafted ETN, and because I didn't want ETN and him in like the first 4 rounds. Oh, and DJ Moore in the first 5 rounds. So 3 of my first 5 picks ended up being busts. And I still ended up okay, but it's just fucking
Tyler,
that shit fucks you.
When's your birthday?
March 13th.
Ooh.
Is that Olaf's birthday or what?
Olaf's is March 15th.
Hey, dude, I think I did a report on Einstein. A lot of people born in March, man, very smart. So Olaf, that does not surprise me.
Your sister was born in March.
Well, that's a fucking outlier there, dog. All right, anyways, moving forward, Jason. Not like my sister. Jordan Addison. So they Sam Darnold spread the ball a lot more than Kirk Cousins. That's all you need to know. And when he spread the ball, Jordan Addison will get more points. He did go up 9.2%. With a new quarterback, I do not know what's going to happen. If Sam Darnold is back, I still like Jordan Addison because he spreads the fucking ball, all right? That's what he does. So I was a Justin Jefferson owner this year. I'm a Jordan Addison fan last year. Yeah, so depending on who the quarterback is, Jordan Addison could be your wide receiver 2. Best case scenario, you want him as your flex, okay?
Right.
But yeah, not much to say about Jordan Addison, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page with you. His targets per game stayed the same with 2 different quarterbacks. It was the same with Kirk Cousins as he did with Sam Darnold, and I am projecting that it's going to be JJ next year. But the system works for him. He's going to have some blow-up games. I think he's a very solid wide receiver 2 on a team. For fantasy, I think he's like a low-end wide receiver 2 going forward. Like,
yeah, and it's like, yeah, and you want him as your wide receiver 3 because it's like, you got Hawkinson, you got Justin Jefferson, whatever running back coming out of the backfield, man, and you got Kevin O'Connell there. He wants to spread the ball. Even though he was a wide receiver coach for the fucking Rams during what's his name's Triple Crown. So that's in there as well. But Justin Jefferson's going to get that, not fucking Jordan Addison.
Right.
And then Zay Flowers, Jason, was a huge disappointment to me. He averaged 20 points per game, man, over the last 5 games of his rookie year. So I was all about him. I was like, Almon Rob St. Brown fucking resurrected. And they're like, hey, man, Mark Andrews was gone. I was like, fuck Mark Andrews. But, I mean, dude, Lamar Jackson threw for more yards than he ever has. And Zay Flowers was not a benefactor. So Zay Flowers next season, I'd have to get him in like the 6th or 7th round, man, for me to even care.
Yeah, the thing with Zay Flowers as well is, like Tyler, you already kind of mentioned it, but his target stayed the same both seasons.
Did they really?
Yeah, they stayed the same per game, like per game. Then Lamar Jackson
That's
threw
crazy.
for how many? He threw for how many yards and he threw for how many touchdowns, and yet he still was only he only had like 4 or 5 touchdowns on the season. I think this is more of like a Rashad Bateman post because Rashad Bateman had like
He did come back even in the playoffs, you know.
he had I can't remember exactly, but I think he had 9 or 10 touchdowns. So yeah, he had 9 touchdowns with Rashad Bateman.
Long
and Zay
touchdown.
Flowers had 4 touchdowns. And so it's kind of scary because I'm like, Lamar Jackson threw for 41 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
And Zay Flowers only got 4 of them.
Damn, so dude, when you say that out loud, that's fucking nuts, man.
So what are the chances Lamar Jackson's going to throw another 41 touchdowns?
No, probably not.
So if he's going to likely regress, right? Which means that's even less touchdowns scored or opportunities for.
And Derrick Henry's still there.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's still there. Mark Andrews is still there. Rashad Bateman is still there because
holy shit. Josh Downs is next, Jason. I'm gonna pee.
And so that's what I'm kind of going into. Like Zay Flowers, he might be going down in my ranks just because of all those stats there. Rashad Bateman screwed that in the pooch. Okay, let me go ahead and let me look for Josh Downs real quick. I like Josh Downs because it's like a quiet. He improved points per game by 4. His points per game went up by 4. Yeah, I feel like he did that quietly. But his touchdown rate was 6.8%. That's kind of low. You want that higher. He's not the deep threat guy. That's also the problem. He isn't the deep threat guy, but he is a slot receiver. But he's also not the goal line guy. He's not going to get the ball around the goal line because they have Jonathan Taylor. They have Anthony Richardson. And they're still on the team for next year. So I can see for 2025 that he's going to probably have around the same stats. And his points per game is not going to increase if he does not score more touchdown, and if he doesn't have a higher touchdown rate of 6.8.
But hey, man, I thought it was interesting that he went from 9.2 to 13.1. Like, that's an amazing jump for Josh Downs, who was a promising rookie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we think about Anthony Richardson being terrible. Josh Downs still did well when he played. So I thought that was actually pretty promising. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be there again, his last chance, you know, like Bryce Young, man, his fucking last chance.
See, and I agree. That's what I was saying in the beginning. I was like, he went up 4 points in a points per game. And I'm like, that's great. But how much higher can you get that without scoring touchdowns? Like, how much more can it increase like next year when you have an Anthony Richardson
and you're right.
Jonathan Taylor scoring touchdowns? Because like I said, he's not the deep threat guy. Like I was looking at his ADOT and
Alec Pierce Alec Pierce is a fucking deep threat guy.
Right, and Adonai Mitchell too. Well, they tried with Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah, we'll talk about Adonai Mitchell. Jesus Christ, I know, man. And then Jaxon Smith-Njigba, I'm super interested in because of Tyler Lockett. I still thought Tyler Lockett was going to be a factor this year. Guess what, dude? He was not. So Jaxon Smith-Njigba made one of the biggest jumps. Like the second biggest jump? No, the third biggest jump. But, you know, he's scoring a lot of points anyways. He was like fucking wide receiver 5, man, in a 3-week period. So his upside is trumps fucking DK Metcalf now. Like, I would much rather have Jaxon Smith-Njigba over DK Metcalf. And where you're going to draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba, I would be targeting him next season.
Yeah, he really benefited from a pass-heavy offense because the Seahawks passed the ball 61% of their plays. You know, and he started to win you weeks starting like week 9. Once week 9 happened, like this guy should have been in your lineup like every week because he was like playing well. He was able to help you win for that week. And what I got here, he led the team in target share at 24%. Tyler, you mentioned Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's target share for the year was 13%. So I'm pretty sure we're seeing the changing of the guard. He was number 1 in the slot receiver plays or snaps or whatever. But unfortunately,
right, he was the slot receiver. Yeah, you're right.
But unfortunately, they fired Ryan Grubb because he was passing the ball too much.
I know.
So that also has in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, so they want another guy who's going to run the ball more, which means
Ravens
pass
head dude, Ravens fucking defensive coach. Ravens defensive coordinator is the goddamn head coach. What do you think he wants to do, Jason?
Yeah, ground and pound, bro. So that's now in the back of my mind as well, because I'm like, dude, if he's not going to get, they're going to leave the pass heavy. I think they were top 5 in pass percentage, like and for plays. If that's going to drop, that means his opportunities are going to drop. He's still probably going to lead the team in targets, and receptions and yards and all that. But
so if Geno Smith is back, Jason, would you target him or would you rather have a new quarterback?
I don't mind having Geno Smith. Liked him towards the end of the year. I think Geno Smith was starting to be like, yeah, this is the guy I need to focus on.
Yeah, if Geno Smith is there, man, I would take him as my wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with that. Yeah.
Okay. If a new quarterback's there, maybe wide receiver 3, but it's fucking tough because it could go DK Metcalf or him. And Jason, it would not surprise me if they ran the shit out of the ball next year, like you said.
Yeah.
And then real fast, I mean, we're gonna go over a couple hits. Michael Wilson, man, they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., so of course he was gonna go down. That was not a big surprise. Dontavian Wicks, Jason, was on a touchdown. I think all he did was catch touchdowns, right? His first year.
Yeah.
And so touchdown regression came. So it did not surprise me when I saw those two in negatives.
Yeah, Wicks was actually the 5th overall in drops. So, that's just saying like you're getting paid. You're getting paid to catch the ball, and you're not doing it. Dontavian Wicks. Michael Wilson, unfortunately, with the Cardinals not playing as everyone hoped. So they're not playing. They didn't play well, and he's like the 3rd option on the team behind McBride and Harrison. So it's hard for him to get any fantasy value out of that.
And then Demario Douglas, Jason, he was on my waiver wire show all last year, most of this year. How do you feel about him next season? He did go up 13%, but that's pretty much only 1 fantasy point per game. There's Keyshawn Bourne was injured his rookie year. That's why he shined. And he came back and he saw what happened there. Jalen Polk, they drafted like in the 1st or 2nd round. So, yeah, I am not really targeting Demario Douglas at any point in my draft.
So he only had 1 game where he scored over 15 points. I think he played majority of the games this year, which is good, but I feel like he has the potential to be a sleeper, but they got to fix that fucking offensive line.
Offensive line, it's going to be all offensive line, man.
Yeah.
And they're going to run the ball because, it's just Mike Vrabel, Titans, I mean, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so unless I'm like satisfied at how much they improved the offensive line, I'm probably not going to worry about any Patriots player next year. Maybe Drake May, but other than that,
yeah, depending on who they draft, I'll pay attention. Yeah. But
they got a lot.
And then Quentin Johnston, Jason. I mean, he was a 1st-round talent, and then you saw what happened this year, man. When he catches touchdowns, dude, you go look at his game log on fantasypros.com, 20 points, 15 points, 20 points, 0 points, 1 point, 3 points. It was a roller coaster. But, Jason, that averaged out to 11.6 points per game. That's like a flex, pretty much. He went up 110% from last year. That is literally coaching. All right? Justin Herbert taking the step as well. But I'm saying fuck Quentin Johnston. I'm not trying to draft his ass. I'm going all Lad McConkey. Quentin Johnston is a flex. I still would not even fuck with.
Yeah. I saw that it was either his targets. I think he could even get 100 targets this year. He did have that 1 game though where he had 14 targets and 10 receptions. He ended up having it was like week 17. But Lad McConkey is the guy in that offense. And if I targeted, Quentin Johnston, and I'm going to have this guy in my flex, he's definitely going to put up weeks 0, 1 point. And it's dude, his floor is so low. And I'm terrified of that. I don't like that. He's in the basement, bro. He's locked up in the basement. That's how low his floor goes.
This is Breaking Bad shit, dude. You want water? Can I give you food?
Yeah.
Fuck that. You're locked in the basement, dog. That's season 1 shit. Marvin Mins Jr., Jason. Marquise Colston was a top 12 wide receiver his rookie year for Sean Payton. I'm still waiting for that. Depending on who they draft, I will say fuck Marvin Mims. That fool went up. He had the second highest jump. Again, when you only score very few points, it's easy to double your points the second year. But hey, man, last 4 games of the year, he was a wide receiver 2 at least for your team. I'm paying attention to that. Do not forget about Marvin Mins Jr. Depending on the draft this season, I will be targeting Marvin Mins Jr. at the end of my draft.
Yeah, the end of the season pretty much really saved him in like points per game because his targets, they were still very low. He still averaged 3 targets a game. But yeah, 3 out of the last 6 games of the year, Tyler, he scored over 19 points, which is great. It's just my concern is his volume. So it's like going into next season, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like Rashid Shaheed type numbers for next year.
Right. That's a good comparison, Jason. And then at the bottom of the graph, I inserted this because I thought it was interesting. So really, I mean, it was pretty much 50-50. You change one number, it was 50-50. You know, it's 8-6. I don't take too much out of that because I could easily be 7-7 easily. So, am I seeing an 8? Average an average that is higher than the average rate for hits on wide receivers? No, I am not. So, but what I am seeing, Jason, is that when you hit almost by 50%, and when you miss, it's like 25%. So your misses aren't that bad. But the potential for your ceiling on second-year wide receivers is so high. That's why you take them. It's not like the hit rate. It is the potential for their ceiling. So as far as second-year wide receivers, you have the same odds, man. It's going to be 50-50. You can flip a fucking coin. But when they hit, they fucking boom. And when they miss, it's not that bad because that's already kind of baked into their draft pick. Does that make sense, Jason?
Yeah. What I like here is was it 9 of these players the second year they were averaging over 10 points a game. That's
a good point. Because even Quentin Johnston down here, 11.6. Yeah. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 8 still, 8 to 6. No. 10. 10.0. You're right, Jason. So 9 of those players, double digits. That is a flex option. So worst case scenario, man, you're getting a fucking flex most of the time when you draft those second year wide receivers. That's a really good point. When you think about it that way, it makes you want to take that risk. But I'm just saying, man, their potential for growth is just a lot higher than most other wide receivers.
Yeah.
So that's why we're taking them. And then Jason, you want to kind of go over? I put this in order. Does anything jump out to you? I'm looking at Malik Neighbors. That fool was already like a top 5 wide receiver, so he is not going to get much higher. His potential for growth is already kind of there. It's going to be already baked in. Brian Thomas has he could go up 6 points. I wouldn't fucking know. I would not be surprised.
I mean, I'm looking at this right now, and I'm like, I can see Thomas. Okay, for real, Tyler, for real. Ladd McConkey, Harrison, Worthy, Coleman, Pearsall.
Yeah.
I'm seeing those players just going through that really quick could get a large bump next year.
And Malik Washington, I want to keep my eye on as well.
Yeah, I know you really like him.
Dude, that fool got fucking 10 targets in 2 games. And Tyreek Hill, just watch that Tyreek Hill situation. Watch the Waddle situation because, hey, man, they fucking did terrible with that tandem last year. Just watch it. But, hey, man. So, yeah, I like Brian. I like Ladd. Marvin Harrison at fucking 11.6. If that went up 7 points, I would not be surprised.
Yep, exactly.
Xavier Worthy without Rashee Rice, you know what that is, all right? You saw it in the playoffs. You saw it at the end of last season. He is so worth to be. I mean, he's almost consistent enough to be your wide receiver 2 there. Jalen McMillan, if fucking Godwin's not there, Jason, is an amazing smash hit. Keon Coleman, I'm so glad you mentioned Keon Coleman because Keon Coleman did terrible this year, 8.6. That's considered terrible? That's actually pretty good. So give me Keon Coleman as his terrible year. And if that went up to 14, oh, fuck, dude, as your wide receiver 2, maybe 3, amazing. And then Ricky Pearsall, apparently there's 4 teams interested in Deebo Samuel right now. I forgot to put that in the news and brews. So if Deebo Samuel goes, I'm already targeting Brandon Ayuk, man. I'm already targeting Brandon Ayuk. That was such a down year. Holy shit. Ricky Pearsall will be great. Cokeheads out there, pay attention to Jalen Coker, but that's so late in the draft, whatever. And then, yeah, man, I think that's it for you. I think that's all you said. Adonai Mitchell, they'd have to get another quarterback in there for me to care. Because they got Josh Downs, Alec Pierce. It's such a clusterfuck over there. There's just really no opportunity.
Yeah, and Pippen, and they're a run-first team.
So, yeah, I think you and I agree on our second-year wide receivers that we're going to target next year.
I see one of the players I really want to target because I want to see how late he's going to go. I'm really interested in Marvin Harrison Jr. And,
yeah, I mean, so what like fourth round? How are you feeling about him? Fifth round?
I think in like fifth round. If I could see him in the fifth round, I'm going to pull the trigger on that because I just can't see this guy not getting that second-year bump with his talent and only averaging 11 points a game. I don't.
Plus he gets that Panini or I forget. No. God damn it! Some asshole people I can't remember. He was doing with a lawsuit, man, to sell his jersey all season. That was long. Fanboy. No. God, why can't I think about that? They make terrible jerseys, man. I hate them.
I know. You talked about it, and I can't
remember. Their jerseys are like
Fanatics,
man. Those fucking dickheads, dude. So let's see. I think that's it. I think that is it that we're gonna cover.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing this, Jason. So yeah, man, if you could think of any second-year wide receivers, the lesson learned, their upside is much higher than any other wide receiver. That's what you're taking a risk on. But again, it's 50-50. You're literally flipping a coin, man, as far as if they're going to go up in production or down in production. But, if you listen to us, hey, I did like Marvin Harrison Jr., but everybody else, man, kind of lined up with our predictions. It's all about opportunity there. But, yeah, Jason, so today I learned that. So last week I learned I want to target first-round rookies. This week I learned I do want to target second-round wide receivers for their upside, and we went over the ones we want to target.
Yeah. God, dude, I can see that McConkey getting like 20 points a game.
Well, I was even saying, I remember when I started the year, I was like, hey, Ladd McConkey's the player that you don't want to draft. You want to trade for the second half of the year, and that's exactly what I did. So, yeah, that came to fruition, and again, it's not going away, all right? So, hey, Olaf, thank you so much for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. As always, again, Listener League, man, we're trying to start a Dynasty League. You're going to be included as well. But Jason, hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription, man. Again, we need fucking subscribers, dog. Hopefully you like what you hear. The champ is here. Hey, cool, y'all. We can begin now. The champ is here. The champ is here. Hey.
The champ is here.
The Corion, man. What's up? Hey, Corion, you should jump on Civilization with me. Apparently, it's you can play multiplayer, Jason, just like Risk. I do want to say, Jason, you remember we used to play Risk and I think chess. I can't remember what we used to play to classical music. Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
We're like 20 years old listening to classical music, playing Risk, getting fucked up.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Hey, Jason, send us out, man.
All right. Well, we're going to be back here next week. Same time, same day, same channel. Because I don't think it's a holiday. When's Easter? Oh, Easter's on
That's
Sunday.
Fucking in April, dude. It's April.
Oh, okay. He has risen. All right. So I will talk to you guys next Friday. Deuces.
This is the Fantasy Red Zone, and we appreciate you. That was a good show, Jason.
Ooh, even Olaf things.